last one we showed that you could do a chromatic mediant shift between different modes and scales and whatnot. So here we're just going to take the same harmonic sequence and use a chromatic mediant shift to pivot. Most of the time when you have continuous wandering harmonic sequences in music, they're usually using normal moves that you would normally find within a key, so but continuously shifting. Now I'm going to use the most typical move probably in existence. It's the 1 5 6 4. Everybody knows this. They call it the axe of awesome. Okay, we're going to take it and we're going to continuously chromatically mediant shift off of it. So 1 5 6 4, chromatic mediant shift to A. 1 5 6 4, chromatically shift to F sharp. 1 5 6 4, chromatically immediately shift to G. Now that's actually kind of boring and stale, so what we're going to do is spice it up. I'm going to start with C, root position, the G, first inversion, the 5 chord, the 6 chord, root position, and then the 4 chord, root position. Chromatic mediant pivot to F, or A, and second inversion, 5, root position, 6, first inversion, 4, root position, chromatic mediant shift to F sharp, second inversion, 5, root position, 6, root position, 4, first inversion, chromatic mediant shift to G, second inversion, 5, root position in G, 6, second inversion, and then 4, root position. So we're going to use that formula. So I'll just kind of improvise off of that formula that I just gave. You notice it doesn't, we've added new dimension to this progression. And I'll just kind of end here in G so it makes musical sense. Kind of like we're breaking out of the harmonic sequence. Okay, we'll just end it here. Okay, so I'm going to do something I normally don't do. I'm going to switch patches to a full strings patch because I want to hold notes and sustain things. I don't really like full string patches because they just sound fake to me. So but we'll do the same sequence now with lots of suspensions, passing notes. Just going through the same sequence. And we'll end on G again. We'll just kind of end here. And so, yeah, I'm not a big fan of full string patches, mostly because you can't hear the separation of groups really well. So it's a big far cry from this, repeating that over and over again. By using that pivot sequence and inversions and non-harmonic tones, we've changed the way you feel about the sequence. So I'll try to play the same thing I did with the full strings on here, if I can remember. And end on 1 G. Okay, so there you go. You can take any particular move that you know within a key, and you could use chromatic mediants on any of the chords that you land on and use that as a pivot point. And that's the whole point of this video. We could take the most common progression in history, well, at least the most common arranged chords together in history, and use that as a means of pivoting and changing the way you feel about it, especially using all kinds of non-harmonic tones and inversions and stuff. So we've pretty much covered all the ground of chromatic mediant use. I mean, you could use it when just staying in one key, but technically that's just borrowing. And if you use like a C to an E flat and then continue on remaining in your same tonal center, technically that's just borrowing from parallel minor. Same with taking like an A flat and stuff. So I'm not going to cover any of those things because it's just basic borrowing. So we're just dealing with chromatic mediants in ways you may not know. So this is now where experimentation comes in. You could take a common mode move that you know and try to figure out how you can pivot off that with a chromatic mediant and use the same sequence again on a different home plate and continuously move it around. This was a very common trick in everything from the late Romantic era to 20th century to film scores, whatever. So it's just one way to modulate. And use the same harmonic sequence. And remember that even in continuous modulation, there's usually something that glues them together, like there's the same kind of move used repeatedly, shifting tonal centers, like we just did here, and using the most common chord progression probably in history. So, all right.